I think it's one of the most valuable things that I can offer as a teacher. I think when we teach languages, I think it's really, really important to expose our students to as many different speakers as possible. So they get comfortable with accents, they get comfortable with different dialects. And I think that also it's a great activity to be able to do as a learner as well. So, you can adapt this to your own learning as well. So basically, I love to help my students increase their confidence in the target language, authentic communication, exposure to different accents, opportunity for true immersion using knowledge and language of a native speaker, and showing students ways to build skills without necessarily going abroad. And of course, you can do this yourself. And I will apologize in advance if many of you are on sites like Preply or italki, because you'll know what I'm talking about. You get right in there and you speak to a native speaker, but it connects with the Google apps that we talked about, with some of the ways it can really facilitate this. So I'm going to talk specifically about how to do this with students, but you can adapt this to yourself to help you elevate your level and really prepare you for a conversation before you think you're ready. A conversation about anything you want, right? Because you can take all those things that we did earlier and scaffold and build what you need to talk about, and then, soak up all the language from the native speaker. So you could do this at...
¿Y ustedes tienen mascotas?
Sí. Okay, so that's just a novice level clip. I won't play that for you. This speaker is from Argentina, and it's possible for students to have a conversation with a native speaker not long into the class. I know a lot of independent learners, we're really comfortable with that. We're okay with that, but I'm just going to show you how they got from, being a few months into the novice level to being able to have a conversation with this native speaker using Google Apps. So basically, whatever your theme is, you as a learner are going to pick whatever theme that you want to be able to talk about and build your skills in. Your students, whatever it is, right? It's obviously going to be relevant to whatever you're studying. And then I say here, get a Gmail address. Surely, I think so many of us know how to get one of those, but I think that what surprised me when I got a Gmail address is that I got all these G Suite apps, and they just keep getting better and better and better. And so set up a Drive folder to store it afterwards, which you're going to want to save your recordings for a lot of reasons. Basic equipment, of course. Find a guest speaker. I love italki. Love italki, though I'm sure there's other great things out there. This is actually just a little clip from italki, and this shows you how easy this is. This isn't going to look like this for your students, of course, but I like italki because it's got all the filters. Again, I'm sure that there are other other apps that do the same thing. I've liked them. I filter, I want a speaker from here, I want it at this time. And I kind of stumbled upon it. I have family and friends, like many of us do, who speak different languages, and we love to have them in our class, but their times don't always line up with our times, whereas you could just hire somebody to come to your class and do this. And so finding your guest speaker. And so here's where we're back to the Google Docs. You're going to make a collaborative Google Doc, and everybody's going to write their questions. So let's see. Okay, here's some easy, this is Spanish, of course. You have them make the questions. And one of the reasons that you want to do it on a collaborative Google Doc is that you tell them no repeat. So the same questions aren't being asked over and over again. And you get to edit them, and they're all on one sheet. And, usually I edit them and I show them beforehand how to do spell checks in Google Docs, et cetera, that they can make it look really nice. And then they have something to guide them in speaking. And of course, ensure you can record. I don't want to get too much into this because I think they're evolving all the time. And again, I'm talking about Google apps. I think all of these apps are doing similar things. So whatever apps you use, it's going to look slightly different. I mean, we're on Zoom today. Um, but in Google Meet, I think it's 3 dots right now, and that's changed. It's changed over the years. And so do the interviews with the students, they're going to note the answers. And if you are a learner, again, I find this is a really great way to elevate language because while you're getting an opportunity to speak to native speakers and you're practicing, the big power is in the input that you're getting back from them. And that's the same for the students, right? Having all that comprehension, that all that language you get to soak up and keep as yours. And if the recording allows you to go back and review. So if students were absent, then they can listen. And if they're absolutely terrified or you're terrified or the tech doesn't work, you can always use the chat function. We've done that before. Just type something in the chat box and they answer. So you get to soak up all of that language. You may know Betty Lewis from Fluent in 3 Months. This is one of his speak from day one little tricks, is that get on italki or wherever it is that you're going, and you can actually just use the chat function, right? And you're listening to all the things that they're saying. And then you'll keep that recording, and the recording is gold. So as a learner, you get to keep the recordings, and that's going to help you measure your progress. And then for students, if students was absent, you guys can review it as a class. So when the students note the answer, one thing I should say is a lot of times, one person will miss one and one person will miss another thing, and they all kind of collaborate and get together and talk after, and then they hand in, and I just kind of check their answers or whatever. And for you as a learner, you got all your questions there. You're not going to be at a loss for words. It'll really help you, really help go to that next level. I think that's what I want to say. I love all the templates in Google Docs.